What's going on, everyone? I'm Steve from Burke Family 54 Comics, and in today's video, we're going to be reviewing Absolute Batman issue number 7. Before we do it, though, make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends, and consider joining the channel as well. So let's get right into it. I have a copy of Absolute Batman courtesy of the amazing writer Scott Snyder. This starts off a new story arc. The first story arc was about the Black Mask. This one appears to be about Mr. Freeze, but though we know that the Absolute universe is slightly different than the main universe. So starts off with father and son going through what appears to be like a jungle or something. And the story arc is called Absolute Zero. We know that the first story arc is called The Zoo. We have a different artist for this issue, Marcos Martin. So we do not have Nick Dragotta, which is interesting. And I think you can kind of tell as you go through it, though it is more similar to Nick Dragotta than the previous artist. I forgot who it was, and then I think issue number 4. But yeah, this is a pretty good book. Let's get right into it. So you see Batman talking to his friend Edward Nygma, talking to Killer Croc. I forgot the other one. They're talking about what they're going to do. His friends basically start figuring out that he is Batman. They tell him not to do it anymore because some bad things may happen. You know, as you can see in the art here, it is definitely different than the previous artist. I do like, and I think this has happened before, but this is the first time I've really noticed it. That the lettering really reminds me of Batman. One, he's going through the city. There's not much to do right now after the whole Black Mask incident. They've really paused everything. We know that he was into construction. They've paused all construction. You see his friend here, Matches, I think is what he's called. They start hanging out. They're talking, and then all of a sudden, his face just goes crazy. He goes, Matches! And obviously, he's dead. They're trying to figure out what happened to their friend here. Obviously, it's some sort of chemical, bacteria, something that happened. And someone walks by, and he's got something on his wrist. And I think it's from when he heard it against the Black Mask. And he points it at him because I think he's got some sort of weapons in there. And he goes, whoa, man, wait. And then he runs off. And we get back to Batman talking to his friends, telling them, come on, man, we know we know why you're not talking about Batman, because you are Batman. We get a nice little scene here. He's, out in Gotham doing his thing. The cops are on to him. This is a really cool scene. It actually kind of reminds me of like Spider-Man, but he's talking to Pennyworth, Alfred, which we know that Alfred is in kind of like a different role here in Absolute Batman. I didn't think we'd be seeing him this soon, but we are. He's telling him, he's like, what's that noise? He's like, the radio. And he's like, okay, keeps talking. And then at the end, he's like, I know you don't own a radio. Next time, just talk to me. Stop being out doing silly stuff. You should be resting anyways. Back to his friends, talking about Batman, telling him he shouldn't be doing that. He's going to hurt. And then you see Bruce at what I think it's called. It has a facility's name. This is where Victor Freeze, his facility is. We see a mammoth. We see a saber-tooth tiger and a beetle all frozen. And this he thought it was just some worker. That turns out it's actually Mr. Freeze's son. And then we get a look at, and he's like, well, I want to see your parents. He's like, okay, well, you can talk to them, but, here they are. That's his mom and his dad. And he's like freaking out. They're both frozen. And he just starts rambling about stuff, about how, like, when he was younger, he was sick. So they used the ice on him to try to get it better. But it didn't really work. In fact, it made him a lot different. And then here at the end, we see what he looks like. And then you see him grabbing Bruce's face, which his friends told him to stop being Batman because bad things would happen. And it definitely looks like it did. You know, going through this, I don't remember it feeling this short when I read it the first time. But as I went through this review here, actually, this is a pretty short issue, it feels like. Maybe the other ones were like that too, but man, it feels really short. But yeah, so instead of, Mr. Freeze being the dad for Absolute Batman, it's his son who is actually Mr. Freeze. And it's interesting because, like, we know that in the entire thing, that obviously everything is quite different in the Absolute universe. But I don't know. I guess we should have known from the very beginning, because if you go back to the very first slide, the very first page, you see the dad with his son, and you see the son's eyes being very, very, very blue. And so we should have known that it was probably going to be his son instead of the regular Mr. Freeze from the main Batman continuity. So if I had to give this a rating, I'm going to give the writing a rating, I'm going to give the art a rating, and then overall. So I'm going to give the writing 8.5. I think the writing is very solid. There's no action in this book really at all. But it does build the storyline. It builds the universe even more. Art, I'm going to give it 5. I did not like it very much at all. And, I wasn't a big fan of Nick Dragotta's art to begin with. I know this is a different artist, but his art actually started growing on me. It's hard to see Scott Snyder, Batman, if I'm being honest, or Jock. But man, this art's not great. I'm giving it a 5. But overall, I'm giving it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good story. It builds the universe. It builds the current storyline. What is it called again? Like Zero or something? Absolutely Zero. Yeah. Okay, so the artist is Marcos Martin. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 8 out of 10. Good story, not much action. Don't like the art, but man, I'm loving Absolute Batman. I have not read Absolute Green Lantern yet, but I've read every other book in the Absolute universe, and I'm liking almost all of them. And I would still put at the very, very, very top Absolute Batman. I just think it's the best. The writing is the best. I'm just most interested in it. Absolute Superman is really good too. But I don't know. I think there's a reason why everyone likes Batman, because it feels very, very grounded. You can relate to it, and it's just good. And when you got Scott Snyder writing it, it's really, really, really good. So I'm gonna give it a solid 8 out of 10. I'm excited for issue number 8. Again, I am Steve here from Brook Family 54 Comics. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about today's video. What do you guys think about Absolute Batman number 7? Have you read it? All that and more. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Cats!
Cowabunga! It's morphin' time!